Namo Buddhaya! Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, may all beings be well, may all beings be at peace, may all beings be free from confusion. Today, we will reflect on a question that has troubled human thought for centuries. What happens to an Arahat after Parinibbāna? Does something continue? Does something disappear? Does something change form? The Buddha's answer is subtle, precise, and deeply liberating, and it does not fit neatly into the categories of existence or non-existence. It points not to a destination, but to the complete cessation of the process of suffering. It is a profound teaching that asks us to look beyond our usual ways of thinking. In the Buddhist teaching, consciousness, or viññāṇa, is not a soul, not an eternal spirit, and not an energy that migrates or transforms. Consciousness is a process. It arises dependent on causes and conditions. Think of it this way. Consciousness arises when a sense base, like the eye, makes contact with an object, like a flower. When these conditions, the eye, the flower, and the contact between them, are present, consciousness of the flower appears. When these conditions cease, consciousness also ceases. This is why the Buddha consistently rejected the idea that consciousness is a permanent self. What is conditioned cannot be eternal. What depends on causes cannot stand independently. It's a constant flow, a stream of moments arising and passing away, not a solid, unchanging thing. So, when an Arahat attains Parinibbāna, what actually ends? It's a common misconception to think something is destroyed or annihilated. But the teaching is much more profound. Nothing moves, nothing transforms, nothing travels elsewhere. What ends is the chain of conditions that produces renewed becoming. Craving has ended, ignorance has ended. The karma that leads to rebirth has ended. Therefore, there is no fuel left for the fire of becoming. This is not the destruction of a thing, because there was never a permanent thing to destroy in the first place. There is only the ending of a process. Imagine a flame. When you remove the fuel and oxygen, the flame doesn't go somewhere. It simply ceases to be. In the Ajivekagata Sutta, the Buddha was asked directly about this. The wanderer Vekagata asked, "After death, does the Tathagata exist?" The Buddha remained silent. Vakagata then asked, "Does he not exist? Does he both exist and not exist? Does he neither exist nor not exist?" The Buddha rejected all four of these positions. Instead, he used a simple and beautiful analogy. He asked Vakagata, "If a fire in front of you were to go out, where would it go? To the east, west, north, or south?" Vakagata replied that the question doesn't apply because the fire ceased when its fuel was exhausted. The Buddha then explained that in the same way, the Tathagata after Parinibbāna cannot be described by categories of being or non-being, because those categories only apply when the conditions for existence still operate. This leads to an important clarification. Parinibbāna is not nihilism. Some people hear this and fear that it means complete nothingness, an utter void. But brothers and sisters in the Dharma, nihilism assumes there was first a real permanent self that is later destroyed. The Buddha never taught that such a self exists. The crucial difference between an Arahat, who attains Parinibbāna, and something that never existed is the process itself. The Arahat lived, experienced, profoundly understood suffering, and then fully, completely ended it. What never existed had no process at all. Parinibbāna is therefore the ultimate completion, not a negation. It is the full and final resolution of the problem of suffering, the final peace. In the Sayutta Nikaya, the Buddha further explained this through the 5 aggregates. He taught that what is impermanent, what is conditioned, what arises and ceases, is not fit to be regarded as a self. The 5 aggregates that we cling to as me form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness are all dependently arisen. They are not a stable, independent identity. They are like a raft, useful for crossing the river of suffering, but not something to carry on your back forever. Since they are dependently arisen, they cannot define an eternal identity. When the causes that sustain them cease, the aggregates also cease. This is not a loss. It is freedom from a heavy burden. So, when we hear expressions like entering Nibbāna in some texts, how should we understand them? This language is conventional. Its skillful means, not an ontological statement. It helps the human mind grasp and communicate the experience of realization. But it does not mean someone literally becomes something or goes somewhere. As stated in the Udina, Nibbana is the unborn, the unbecome, the unmade, the unconditioned. Therefore, Parinibbāna is not a transformation into a new state of being. but the complete and total cessation of all conditioned states. The language points toward the moon of liberation, but it is not the moon itself. Wisdom is what truly understands. Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, the Buddha did not leave us with complex metaphysical speculation. He left us a direct, practical path to the end of suffering. Parinibbāna is not something to try and imagine, but a concept that reveals what true freedom really means. It is not becoming something else. It is not disappearing into nothingness. It is simply the final, irreversible ending of the conditions that make suffering possible. It is the ultimate peace. May this understanding soften any fear you may have, clarify your view, and strengthen your practice on the path. May all beings be free from confusion. May all beings realize peace. Namo Buddhaya. Sadhu. Sadhu. Sadhu.